So this is an explanation of Selection 1 assignment here in Google Classroom, Week 3, Selection 1. Here are the images to download. Hopefully those images correspond with the slide. All right. Download the attached JPEG images into PS. PS stands for Photoshop. And use the selection tools below to make the best possible selections. Move your selected items to the canvas indicated below. Here's the canvas size. You're going to do File New, and you're going to choose 8 inches by 10 inches, 300, and you're going to make a transparent canvas. So I'm going to do that right now. File New. And as I'm doing this, I'm kind of reviewing stuff that we already know. Again, you don't need to title it here. So width is already set to 8. Make sure that it's on inches. And make sure the height is on 10. So 8 by 10. The guys, stop whistling, please. Seriously. Resolution 300. You don't need to mess with this. And here you need to choose transparent. Press create. All right. Or you can flip it. That's a vertical canvas. You can do File New. You can just flip the orientation here. Just click. It'll go 10 by 8. I'll just leave it on 10 by 8. Remember, I can pull this off. Right now it says Untitled-1. That means that this project or this assignment is not titled yet. You'll title this before you leave. Okay, back to here. So now that I have the correct size canvas, I'm ready to do the next step. Now, here are the items: deer, domesticated goose, doll, dog, burger, flower, and duck. And then right next to it, to the right, it tells you which selection tools to use. So when you're doing the deer, polygonal lasso. The goose, the quick selection tool. The doll, polygonal lasso. The dog is magic wand and polygonal lasso. The dog has a shadow on it, so when you use the wand, it's not going to select the shadow. You'll have to use the polygonal lasso to cut out the shadow around the feet. Burger, quick selection. Flower, quick selection, and duck, magic wand. Import a background picture from Google Images, and it says here large. I'm going to tell you what that looks like, and put it on the base of the layers palette. All right, I'm going to pause right now and show you how to do that. So I'm going to open up Google Images, and I'm going to type in waterfall. I'm going to put a picture of a waterfall in. It doesn't have to be. It can be a picture of a brick wall. It's really, or scribbles. You could type in scribbling and have a picture of a second grader, 5-year-old scribbling artwork. Anyway, you get the idea. So waterfall, click on images. All right, don't look at these and think, oh, don't even start looking at these yet, because most of these will not work in Photoshop. And the reason why is because the resolution is too low. You never want to use a low-res image in Photoshop because it won't look good when you print it, and it won't even look good on the screen. So just ignore the first page of results and go right over here where my cursor is circling, over Tools. Click on Tools. Over here at the top left, Size, and scroll down to Large. Now Google Images is going to reload the photos that are large files or high resolution. Doesn't mean necessarily that Concord doesn't block it. It could block the file because this comes from a blocked website, or the file is like the wrong file type. So don't think, oh yeah, these are all going to work. You just have to kind of see. Best thing to do is save it and try to open it up into Photoshop. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. There's nothing you can do about it. I'm going to click on this one. All right, notice that I did not save directly from here. You can right-click, save image as, but you're not actually going to get the resolution that it's offering. To get the full resolution, you need to open it up and then click Save Image As. I've already saved one earlier from today. You can title it here if you want, waterfall, and you notice that the extension or the file type is a JPEG, otherwise known as a JPG or a JPEG. Click Save, and that's the best file to use in Photoshop for our purposes. Let me see if I can show you one that won't work. Save Image As. Most of these are JPEGs. Every once in a while, you'll come across one that says PNG. Those will work fine. You might find one that says bitmap. Those will work fine. You might find one that says .web or something like that. That will not work. But again, the best thing is a JPEG. What else can I tell you? Oh, watermarks. Don't save images with watermarks. I'm going to find one. Watercolor texture. Let's say you want to put like a cool looking watercolor painted texture. Something that has a watermark on it. It's sort of like a thing that protects. Why can't I find one right now? There's usually tons. Okay. Usually there are. Maybe Google has done an update where it's not even showing the ones with watermarks. Okay, we'll cross that bridge if we get there. For some reason, I think they did an update. Wow, and sometimes when you click on an image, it'll show up here as blurry, but these are coming up clear when I'm clicking on them, which is good. Sometimes they just don't clear up unless Google did an update or Concord did an update with their Google settings or proxy settings. Finally, watermarks. Something 123RF. It's a stock photo website where you actually have to pay. That's because they want you to pay for the stock photo. Don't save or use images with watermarks. Okay, there's one right there. All right, so I'm just going to save another one. Cool. Oh, that's got writing on it. Well, maybe I'll just use that part. That's fine. Save image as. I'm not going to title this one. I'm going to save it to my downloads. You can also save to your Google Drive. That would be fine. But I'll just save to downloads as the computer. That big black box sitting right in front of you. That is where downloads is. It's not a safe place to save, but for now, if you don't really care about the image and you're just using it once, go ahead and save it on downloads. You can always delete it later on. All right, I'm going to open this up. File open. You know what? I'm going to use the waterfall. There it is. That's a huge image. The way it popped open into Photoshop like that and it's taking up all that space, that's a really large, high-res image. That's exactly what you want to happen. I'm going to pull this off. Now I'm going to move this on to my... This is not my assignment. This is just a picture I'm using. The assignment is this that I've made, the 8x10, or in this case, a 10x8 inch. So I want to move this picture and use it as the background here. Okay, so here I go. You can also, all right, so the move tool is right here, top left. I can, okay, I can grab this and move it over like that. Notice how it got smaller here? That's okay, don't worry about that. Or Control Z, remember, edit, undo. Or I can actually grab this layer, drag it over, and release it. Now I'm going to close this out. I don't need to save it. In fact, I can delete it off of downloads. I'm done with it. I'm going to press the letter F, and that changes the view of my workspace. It's supposed to. Okay. And I'm going to move it up here. Now I'm going to show you how to transform this so that it takes up. Zoom out, Control minus. Control, anybody remember for transform command? Control T. Control T box. Woo! All right. So Control T, just pull the corner. Now, do I have to make this match the size and scale of my canvas perfectly? No. The answer is no. You don't at all. So why don't I just keep pulling it and keep pulling it? What you don't want to do is go like this and then go like that. Or wait, like this. Because it's just not going to look good if you do that. So you're going to lose some of the image. No big deal. And it looks pixely right now because I haven't pressed enter yet. When you're satisfied with your transformation, press enter. And now it gets clear again. Really clear. I'm going to use this as the background. And you notice now I have two layers. If you click this eyeball, it'll hide what you just put on. And you can even title this. This says layer 2. Double click. Waterfall. Press enter. Layer 1, I'm going to move layer 1 on top of layer 2, so you can move these around. And I'm going to title this one Gradient, Gradient. Press enter. What the heck is gradient? Well, let's go back to the assignment. Press F, press F, press F, like that. Minimize. Oh, I'll close out that. The assignment says, make a blank layer on top of the background picture and add a gradient. Okay, I'm guessing most of you know what a gradient is. And then it says, use Photoshop blending modes. Blending modes to blend the gradient down with the background picture. Kind of like when I showed you, I think we copied the duck's eye, and then I did the blend. I think I did that with the student. Wait, yeah, the blending modes. Okay. So I'll explain how to blend the gradient down with the background picture. This is a really cool thing that really cool effect Photoshop offers. So a gradient. So I'm transitioning into the demonstration on how to make a gradient. First of all, you need to go to the gradient tool. It's here in the toolbox. If you press the letter G for a gradient, it'll automatically switch from this tool that I'm on now, which is the move tool, to the gradient tool, G. Remember, there are tools hidden inside. Right click. There's the gradient tool, the paint bucket tool, and the 3D material drop tool that I've never used before. So yours could look like that. If you press G, okay, let's say you're on the move tool or any other tool, you press G, it could look like that. That's the paint bucket. You might have to right click to get the gradient. All right, so here's how to make your own gradient. So you notice that the options up here have changed. Okay. These are the options for the gradient tool. What are these things? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. We'll get to that later. Diamond gradient, reflected gradient, angle gradient, radial gradient, and linear gradient. If you don't know what something is, hover your cursor over it and Photoshop will tell you. If I hover my cursor over this little picture here and click on it, this thing pops up called the gradient editor. I've just decided that I'm going to divide up this demonstration into 2 videos because this video is getting super long. So I'm going to explain gradient and then we're going to stop and I'm going to do video number 2. All right, again, to get the gradient editor, you have to be on the gradient tool and then click on this picture, not the drop down, the picture, the color. Click and you get the gradient editor. So you've got your basics, which are boring. You have your blues. Wow, that's a lot. Your purples. Like seriously, Photoshop has made about every gradient there could possibly be. Just like if you like greens, start with the greens. Okay, let's try, but I don't want that. I want iridescent. No, I don't like those either. Pastels, no. Neutrals, sure. We'll try a neutral. We're going to try this one. Oh, and that puts it right there. Oh, cool. Okay. All right, you ready for this? It gets more complicated, but it's going to be so easy for you after you do it like twice. You'll be able to do it blindfolded. Okay, so I like this, but I want to change it and I want to change some of these colors. So you see one box here, one here, one here, and one here. So 2 at the bottom and 2 on top. Ignore the ones on top. We're just going to mess with the ones on the bottom. So click on it, click on the actual box, and it puts the color here. Click on the color, and you can change it. Oh, much cooler now. I've just decided that I want to make a gradient that looks like fire. I don't know why. I do. I can also slide this one. I'm going to grab this one and slide it and click on it. And now I'm going to choose like a red-orange. Okay. So I've got this and this. I'm actually going to make this one. No, I'm going to leave that. But I want a third one, but there's no third. There's not a third box. So just click in the empty area and one will appear. Click. And then click the color. Oh, yes. Press OK. And hold your mouse down and drag it. Beep. Gradient. And drag it. And start here and drag it. And do a little drag. Or a long drag. Or a side-to-side drag. Or an up-and-down drag. I think you get the point. But what about these up here? What's this one? Ooh, radial gradient. Little drag, long drag. Angle gradient. I almost never use this one. Some people do though. There's another gradient, and this last one's a diamond gradient. I'm going to leave it on this one. Okay, so let's take a look at the layers palette. Really important. You have this gradient here, and you have the waterfall, but why can't I see the waterfall? Any guesses? Say that louder. You're on screencast. The gradient's on top. Okay. Sorry. All right, so the gradient's on top. It's covering the waterfall. So if you click the eyeball, you can see what's underneath. You click both of them, you can't see anything. All right, so the assignment says make a blank layer, add a gradient, and then use Photoshop's blending modes to blend the gradient down with the background picture. All right, so we're going to blend it. Blending or mixing. Where the heck are these blending modes? Oh, right here. Where it says normal, click the arrow drop down. I like to start at the bottom. Luminosity, color, saturation, hue, divide, subtract, exclusion, difference, hard mix, pin light. Oh, that's kind of crazy. Linear light, vivid light. It just depends on what effect you want. Soft light is very subtle. Overlay is kind of subtle. That's kind of cool. Lighter, linear, all of these different ones. You can also just start at the bottom, click, and then use your arrow up key and arrow through them. When you're satisfied and you want to choose one, I'm going to choose something that's not like super intense. That's kind of intense, and I'm going to choose it. Yeah, I'm just contradicting myself. Press enter. All right, again, linear burn is what I chose. It's this one. If I go to normal, that's nothing. There is no blend. If I go to linear burn, it's mixing. So blending modes mix layers together to achieve special effects. All right. So I'm going to take a break. I'm going to stop sharing. And that's going to be called video 1.